Hey everyone, I'm Brendan Glasheen along with DK Live's Adam Levitan and Reid Fowler. They're here to help you make your pick for DraftKings Team Pick Em, presented by Papa John's. You get 25% off any regular menu price orders by using the promo code DK25. We're targeting 3 games in Week 12, guys, with interesting storylines. The Seahawks are vying for a playoff spot, and they're in Carolina to take on the 6-4 Panthers. Reid, the Panthers went for 2 last week, but failed, so it resulted in a loss to the Lions. Can Cam and company rebound?
I think Seattle is going to take this one, in my opinion. Look, I know traveling west to east is not good. Seattle gets a couple extra days of rest, obviously playing on that Thursday night at home against Green Bay. But honestly, if you look at Carolina, I'm not convinced they're this team that belongs at 6-4. Like, they've beaten Tampa Bay. I get that. They've beaten other teams that really don't give me that trust that they're a team that they can beat. Seattle is better than we expect. And if you look at Carolina, they're averaging 20 points in their losses. If you take out that 52 burger that Pittsburgh put up on them, the teams that go up against them average about 20 points per game. So in these slow-paced games which Seattle plays, I think Seattle takes this one.
How about you, Levitan?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Panthers here. I think the biggest home field, arguably one of the biggest home fields in the entire NFL, goes to the Seahawks. And then we see them step up and play really well on that Thursday game against the Packers, come back and get the win. I think going on the road across the country, as Reid mentioned, for this game is a big, big difference. And the Panthers' backs are really against the wall here. I mean, after they lost that game going for 2 up in Detroit, they really, really need this win if they're going to make the playoffs. So I think the Panthers come out focused and at home get the win.
All right, well, speaking of cross-country trips, the Steelers are going to go to Mile High and face the Denver Broncos. Both teams are coming off wins, Denver beating the Chargers and the Steelers outlasting the Jaguars. Levy, who do you like in this one?
Yeah, it's kind of against me to go with one of these road favorites, traveling and everything, but I've got to stick with the Steelers here. Their defense is just so much better than people realize, from a run stuffing perspective, from a cornerback play perspective, and really from a pass rush perspective too. I mean, they're so strong there. And then we know when push comes to shove, even in a really tough spot down in Jacksonville, and I thought Jacksonville would win that game, as Ben Roethlisberger ended up getting them the win at the end. So I think the Steelers just have way too much talent and scheme here.
Reid?
Yeah, I'm actually looking at Denver again this week at home. And when you look at these guys, like Levy mentioned, home underdogs, these guys tend to play up. Like, they played against a division team that in the Chargers that we kind of thought, okay, Denver can eke away this win and can squeak away this win, and they did. If you look at all the key statistical categories, like Pittsburgh on defense and offense owns most of those. But if you look at this Denver team, that defense is playing a lot better. Look, that rush defense is suspect, but that pass defense and that secondary with Chris Harris, these guys are playing up over their average of what they've done this season. So I'm going to take Denver in this. I think Pittsburgh did spend a lot of emotional equity. They're traveling now back, I guess, east to west. And so I'm taking that and taking Denver here.
All right, we'll get you guys out on this. The way the standings look, Packers-Vikings has the feel of a make-or-break game for each team. So, Reid, these guys tied back in Week 2. I want you to pick a winner, please. No ties.
Yeah, I'm going with the Vikings here. Look, these teams, like you mentioned, they always play each other very, very hard. And much like Levy talked about in the beginning with Carolina, I think the Vikings are also in this must-win. Look, Green Bay did also lose to an NFC divisional woe in Seattle, and so their backs up are against the wall as well. But if you look at defensively, the Vikings and what they're able to do, right, their pass rush, it's just, to me, in the sense of what you're able to do now against Green Bay in terms of that secondary. Look, you attack these corners, right? You attack them with your wide receivers in Adam Thielen, in Stephon Diggs. I think they slow the ball down. I think Minnesota has a lot more success running the ball against this team as opposed to Chicago. So I think we'll see a lot of Dalvin Cook. I think we'll see a lot of these skill players. And Minnesota's got to win, something in them.
How about you, Levitan?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with the Vikings here. I mean, I don't know. The Packers have one good player in Aaron Rodgers, and they have one of the worst coaching staffs in the league, and they have one of the worst defenses in the league. So, I mean, Aaron Rodgers can compensate for a lot, as we've seen this year, can compensate for everything here. So I think that the Vikings, with a more well-rounded team, and still, I don't think they're proven this year that they're not very good either, but I think a more well-rounded team gets it done here.
All right, thanks, guys. That'll do it for this week's edition of Make Your Pick for DraftKings Team Pick Em, presented by Papa John's. For Adam and Reid, I'm Brendan. Talk to you next week.